So I've had umbilical hernia as a child, but I never thought I was gonna get surgery for it, and there are reasons why I felt that way, which I'm gonna be explaining in this video. But recently I had my hernia repaired. I had the surgery, so I just wanted to come on here and share with you guys like the whole journey from the diagnosis to like treatment and recovery and everything in between. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in hearing about, make sure you keep watching the video till the end. So before I get into all the details, for those of you who don't know what an umbilical hernia is, I'm just gonna quickly Google that so I can explain it to you guys, because I don't want to butcher anything. I'm not a medical personnel or anything, but I do understand what it is. So I just wanted you guys to understand, because I've had a lot of people ask me like, I've always heard of hernias, like, but I don't understand what that is about. I myself, I didn't really look it up. I just knew I had it as a child and blah blah blah. But it's really now that I really did my research. So it says an umbilical hernia is a bulge that appears near the belly button, occurring when a part of the intestine or abdominal lining pushes through a weakness in the abdominal muscle at the belly button area. So naturally, after birth, like the belly button, after being separated from the mother, is supposed to like heal on its own. I heard that by the age of 5, it should have healed by itself, but that's not the case for everybody. So I'm one of those people. When I was younger, I used to have like a very big protruding belly button, and that was a hernia. I think until I was like 12 or 13, and I remember I was always going to the hospital. I was always in pain. So at one point, I was supposed to have surgery, but my paternal great grandma said I shouldn't go for the surgery. So she told my dad I should come over to her place. She was very good with using herbs to heal people and stuff. That's how the surgery was cancelled, and then I went over there. Basically, she just went behind her house, cut some herbs, and then she just squeezed it and rubbed the juice on the navel. After that, I just realized that the belly button started going inside, because like I said, it was really used, so it went all the way inside. So I was so shocked, and that's the first time that I realized the power in herbs that God has created, because I don't know how that happened, because usually hernias are not treated without surgery. So for the fact that the belly button went inside and I didn't have any pain again for years until like recently, those herbs did magic. Even though I don't know if it did like the complete job or whatever, but yeah. So that's why I said in the beginning that I didn't think I was gonna ever have surgery for it. So at this point, I hope you understand what an umbilical hernia is. Basically, it's a weak spot around the belly button, basically like an opening that maybe your intestines or the abdominal lining can push through. It could become very life-threatening because the intestines might come out and rupture and stuff like that. So there are various levels to it. So you want to fix it before it's too late. So moving on to present day, I think November of 2024, I started having like pain in my tummy. So I didn't really pay attention to it because I'm used to always having issues with my stomach. So I didn't really focus on it. So when I went to the hospital to do like a general checkup, and if they touched the area, I would just like scream. But I don't know why I never really complained about it. So the doctor looked at me and was like, are you okay? You are in this much pain and you didn't even complain until we're doing the checkup. So I was like, yeah, I'm always having issues with my stomach. So while the doctor was trying to figure out what was happening, he just made a statement like, oh, it's not like you have umbilical hernia. I was like, hold up. I was like, I've heard that word before. I was like, excuse me, actually, I've had it as a child. Because I think maybe he said, it's not like you have it because he wasn't expecting, I don't know, maybe adults do have it, but I don't know, he just maybe wasn't expecting it because I'd never made mention of it throughout the years. I told him about the history of me having it and just explaining how my great grandmother treated it. I was like, you know, umbilical hernia can never be treated without surgery. I was like, yeah, I've read about that, but I know it did work because physically we could see the belly button was bulging, but after her herbs, it went inside. So I guess, I don't know how far that went, but it relieved me of pain for a couple of years. Imagine from 12, 13 to now. But to be sure, of course, we had to do ultrasound. So I was referred to go do the ultrasound. When I got there, the lady did it. She was like, wow, you really know your body, because I can see the hernia. She was showing me on the screen. This is the gap. So basically there was like a hole where the belly button is, and like stuff was pushing through. So just to make everything clear, here are the steps. So my primary care physician discovered or was suspecting umbilical hernia. So he referred me to do an ultrasound, which I did, and brought back the results to him, which he then referred me to a surgeon. So I went over to see the surgeon, and he examined the tummy, and apart from the bulging, there were other issues, because like I was feeling pain in also other areas, and we couldn't just decide on the surgery date. He wanted to get like a good picture of what was going on. He told me that I think there are multiple defects, so let's go ahead and go do a CAT scan or a CT scan. So after I got the results of the CAT scan, I had to go back to my surgeon, which apart from the hernia, I had some other issues, which I'm not going to talk about in this video, but the hernia was the one that needed the urgent surgery. So after my surgeon received the results of the CAT scan, I had to book an appointment and go back to meet him for us to discuss the procedure of the surgery. Basically, with hernia surgeries, because of the risk of reoccurrence, usually they put a mesh because the risk of reoccurrence is high. The mesh doesn't completely eliminate reoccurrence, but it helps to reduce the risk of reoccurrence. So that's what we discussed. At first, I wasn't really into the mesh, because that day I couldn't just decide, because I was so scared of just having like foreign object in my body. So during that discussion, I was like, I don't want a mesh, just close up the hole, and yeah, that's it. So after that, I got home. The date for the surgery was sent to me, and I was given like a list of things to prepare for my surgery, things to do, couple of weeks to surgery, 3 days to surgery, and the day before surgery, which wasn't difficult. But like 5 days to the surgery date, I had like serious headache, and I couldn't take medication because I was told not to take any painkillers, I think 2 weeks or 1 week to surgery. So I was just so frustrated. Also, on my pre-surgery to-do list, I had to buy some antiseptic cleanser to wash like my abdomen and particularly my belly button for like 3 days to surgery. Then the day before, I had to take off all the piercings on my body, which I just have my ears, so I just had to take off piercings and any metal stuff. Yeah, I just did that day before the surgery, because I was gonna leave very early. Don't want to wake up in the morning and start rushing through that, so I did that. Also, I was asked to take a mild laxative by 3 p.m. of the day before, and then no food or water after midnight. So I just thought that, okay, there's no need for me to have laxative at 3 and then eat maybe after 3. So I was already not having appetite, so I stopped eating by 2. Now, moving on to the day of the surgery. My surgery was scheduled for 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. I forgot. But I had to be there by 7:50. That's what I was told, to come in by 7:50. And when I got there, that's when I realized why I had to be that early, because there were a lot of steps to get you to the operating table. So yeah, I was taken into the operating room, and last I remember was like somebody trying to have a conversation with me while they were trying to move me from the other bed to the operating table, and I just woke up somewhere else in pain. So that's like all I remember. So yeah, I woke up, the pain was crazy. So I think I haven't mentioned this yet, but the surgery that I have was laparoscopic. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. So it's basically robot assisted. So yeah, when I got there, one of the nurses was like, oh, she's a robot. And I was looking at her like, what? And then she was like, no, I don't mean you're a robot, but just telling the other nurses robot, it means that the type of surgery that I'm having. So I was like, oh, so that's how they say it. So like I was saying, I've had open surgery before, but I don't remember being in this kind of pain. Anyway, I'm moving to forward. So I woke up in the recovery room, and I just remember the nurse was like saying, breathe. And I was like, I cannot breathe. It was so hard. This surgery, oh my God. And then she was saying, oh, your BP is going up or is going down. I don't know which one. My BP was either going to up or down. So I was like, if you don't breathe, you are going to stay in this hospital for 3 days. I was still like a bit off, but I just remember saying that I cannot breathe. It was hard. Then she started giving me some injections. She gave me like 3. I kept begging. She was like, I have to wait a bit before we give you the next dose. I was like, no, give the dose. It was just a lot of pain. So she finished giving me all the injections. I think those were like also painkillers and stuff. So when the anesthesia was finally cleared, they transferred me to a wheelchair and then took me to a room where they like called my mother to like dress me up for us to go home, because with the robotics surgery you can go home on the same day. So the nurses helped me get into the car. That was like so painful, because just the driving, any bump, any mistake on the road is like, oh my god. So remember I said I didn't want the mesh, but I ended up getting the mesh because when I received like the surgery report, I could see and the reason is there were far more complications. Like apart from the hole around the belly button, there were other holes that extended to like 9 centimeters from that one. So they had to go in and stitch all of those little holes together, and they had to put like the mesh from the belly button right up. So it was a lot. There was no way they could avoid that, because basically it was too big, and then you risk reoccurrence and then you're back on the table again for another surgery. So yeah, when I went to see the surgeon, he basically explained that they had to use the mesh. That's how the surgery went. So let me talk about recovery. So I was in so much pain. I remember on the 4th day, I was so angry, just angry with the doctors, angry with everybody. I was frustrated because I was just lying on my back hurts, everywhere hurt, and they kept telling me that, oh, the robotic surgery is less painful or easier than the open surgery. I'm like, I've had both. Why do I prefer the open surgery? Even though the open surgery might take a longer time, even a year for you to completely recover. But this pain that I'm feeling, I remember watching videos on YouTube of people that have had the surgery. I saw some gym bros that were actually crying in pain. I was like, oh my God, if these guys with these muscles can cry, then I'm dead. To be sincere, it was so painful. I know other people, I've watched some people say, oh, they were able to get on their feet, recovered and stuff. But that wasn't the case for me. I guess different people have different pain tolerance. That's all I can say, because even now I'm still struggling. I can't really sit for long, can't stand for long. I'm too tired. So, but the doctor says sometimes the drugs and anesthesia, your body needs time to recover. But at the end of the day, healing is a slow and gradual process. You take your time. You don't want to rush things. Right now, I'm not doing any exercise. Even walking is a lot. I never thought in this life walking would be a lot, but if I go to a treadmill, I'm wasting my time, because 5 minutes I'm exhausted and then I'm just sore. So yeah, so I'm being asked to keep off that. But I do walk around, but nothing too much, because I'm just going by how my body is, because I'm still in a little bit of pain. So yeah, it's gonna take a while. So yeah, that's the story. I hope I didn't forget anything. But I thank God for life. Thank God for taking me into the operating room and bringing me back out safely, for healing me, for taking the pain away, because I didn't even think that pain. I remember that first day, I thought that if they had told me that the pain was going to go away, I wouldn't have believed, because the pain just felt like it was everlasting. But right now, I'm good, and I give God all the glory. And thank you guys for your support. Thanks to all my friends that reached out. I'm so grateful, and I'm doing well by the grace of God. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. So if I'll have to give a tip for anyone going through the same procedure, I'll just say everything depends on your pain tolerance, because I've heard people say, oh, it was easy for me, but that wasn't my case. So I don't want to tell you it was easy or it was hard and then you go experience another thing, because that was my frustration. That's why I was so pissed on the 4th day, because the way they made me feel like, oh, by the 3rd day you're on your feet, you're doing your stuff. I was like, that's a lie. I was so pissed. So I don't want to mislead anybody. Everybody's body is different. People have different pain tolerance. So yeah, just go through your journey and you see how it goes. God is with you. So yeah, you'll be fine.